New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Things went horribly wrong for a Russian weightlifter who suffered a gruesome injury when his right leg snapped as he tried to squat about 550 pounds. 20-year-old suffered a compound fracture in his tibia Sunday during a doom lift at the Eurasian Weightlifting Championship in the far eastern part of Russia. In the sickening caught-on-video episode, the man lowers himself with a barbell resting on his shoulders with 5 spotters ready to jump in if needed. As he bends down, his right leg emits a loud snap as it crumbles under the heavy load, and he goes down. He told Russian media that he'd been suffering with a leg injury for weeks before the event. Turns out 2 weeks ago, my leg began to hurt. I thought that was just maybe a pull or something, so I didn't really pay any attention. I just had painkillers, trained, prepared. I was also advised it would pass by itself and heal. But it didn't. It snapped the tibia and the fibia. Our question, Men's Room blank style. I fought the blank and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Daryl. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hello.
Hola!
Ola Chola back, you guys. Ola Chola, man. So this is where the chainsaw wins in my my world.
Okay.
So I had a place in Tacoma, and I had a view of the city, the sound, the whole bit, right? And my neighbor said, hey, you can cut down these trees if you want to get a better view. So I had some friends come over, we cut the trees down. And then we quit for the night. I went home. I took my chaps off, and I'm looking. I'm going, God, I'm going to get that last tree. So I grab my chainsaw. I don't put my chaps on. This is where stupidity takes over right at this point. Go across the street, start it up, make the cut, and now I'm going to make the cut to cut it down, right? And I'm cutting, and all of a sudden, in this quick second, in the back of my mind, it goes, God, you might want to look down. Your leg's hot. And I look down, and the chainsaw is ripping my leg from the inside of my leg up to the about the middle of the kneecap. Because if you kind of think about your leg kind of leaning in towards the chain, and I stop the chain, I stop chainsaw, I pull my leg out, and I go, my toes are moving, my foot is moving, and I'm going, I'm good. And I look down and I go, okay, so how much did I cut? And my pant leg is pretty much gone at this point, right? And I look and I'm right there. I can see my damn bone. If something about my mind did not tell me, look down, your leg is hot, I think I would have hit the bone. And if I would have hit the bone, I was pretty much ready to pass out when I saw it, let alone, I think if I would have hit it, I think at that point I would have.
So it was hot, but it wasn't like feeling like something's cutting into my leg.
No. And if you got just a second, I'll try to be fast with it. You guys remember Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I mean, the original. I'm 60, so, the original one. I always thought, oh, my God, that would hurt. God, But you know what? I didn't feel a effing thing other than for the heat.
How was the view afterward?
Hey, the view was great. I got great money for it when I sold the house, but you know what? It was worth it. At least I didn't lose my leg, but I just wanted to stay, it won because stupidity took over for me.
Well, it's a chainsaw, so it already has a leg up, no pun intended. What was your treatment at the hospital?
That was a different, I had to go to Tacoma General, and that was a different story altogether. I go up there, and first I call my wife at that time calls the 911. They come up there and they go, well, it's going to cost me if I'm going to drive you. I said, I'll drive myself. So I had my wife drive me up there because I live on 31st and 19th is just across the highway, right? Anyhow, so I get up there. My wife drops me off, and she takes off because she doesn't want to stay there. And they put me in a room. And if it wasn't for my brother coming to wake me up almost, I don't know, what was it, 7, 8 hours later, they had shut the light off. And when he came in, he goes, "How long you been here?" I go, "I don't know." And I got a lady and I said, "How long is it before the skin heals, before you can sew this thing back together?" And she told me the time, and I get up and I say some choice words that I can't say on the air. And I'm leaving, and next thing I know, I got this doctor running after me, telling me that he can sew it back together. And I was like, dang.
What did you ever cut the rest of the other tree down?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
I finished the job. If I fall off the bike, I get back on it again. It's just...
Yeah, but people say that about bikes because they're not chainsaws.
Well, that's true. And I mean, I still work with chainsaws, but I wear the appropriate gear.
Okay. That goes a long way, man.
What do you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
Oh, you are? Good for you, man. How are you enjoying the retirement living?
I enjoy the hell out of it. I'm waiting to win the lottery because the casinos are taking all my money right now. So is the state. But once I do, then I'm gonna move south. No, I'm gonna move south when in about 2 more years.
Okay.
I gotta get out of this rainy state. It is just.
How far south?
I'm looking. I took my wife to Texas. She liked it, but wasn't too happy with it. I used to grow up my summer times down there with my grandparents. So then we went to Mississippi last year, and she kind of liked it. So, look, for me, it doesn't matter. As long as she's happy, as we all know,
Yep.
she's happy.
No, we know how it works.
Just remember how, I know you grew up in the summers in Texas, which to me sounds like you're going to living hell based on the temperature, but just know how much more muggy Mississippi is.
I was going to say, I would take Texas over Mississippi for several reasons.
It's a drier heat. I know that sounds like a cliche, but I'm telling you, Mississippi is a
in
swamp.
Texas.
Yeah.
Houston is overwhelmingly humid. I've never been anywhere that humid. I've been New Orleans, all this stuff.
That's weird because it's on the Gulf of Mexico. You'd think there'd be some kind of a breeze or something.
You would think that.
Right.
And it's flat. There's no mountains blocked.
Yeah.
Like, it's flat. There's the Gulf of Mexico, and somehow it's like, yeah, the wind just doesn't want to blow here.
Huh.
Well, yeah. But think about, Baltimore's on the Chesapeake.
Yeah, true.
Think about how humid it gets there.
Yeah, but there's vegetation. Like when I think Texas, I just think desolate,
But it's
tan,
not all that. It's really
brown,
not. It's not all that. There's more of that in that state than a lot of places, but Texas is so goddamn big, there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It is a massive, massive state.
Men's room blank question. I fought the blank, and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the men's room.
Bitches.
Hola.
How you guys doing?
Doing great,
Excellent.
man. Thank you.
You should be happy. You won last night.
That's right.
We had to win. It's the Cowboys. Come on.
Yeah, well, we lost to Washington, so it's not much better.
No, you lost to the Giants. And look, I've said this.
No, I'm not a Seahawks guy.
Oh, you're not
Steelers fan.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how to explain that, man. That's different.
We almost lost to us, and we didn't have a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 linemen, and a
It
fullback.
was our practice squad. Yeah.
We still almost beat you, so you knew that was going to happen.
A win is a win, right?
That's right.
Yes, it is.
That's what we said last night.
And that's what they're saying in Washington.
Yeah. So my story is kind of like some of the other guys. I fought the log, and the log won.
The log. Yeah.
The log.
I used to work in the timber industry as a logger, and the way we used to do it, it's going to be hard to explain for the audience. But anyways, we used to pull the logs with a cable. Cable would be pulling said log along, and something stopped the log from going forward, and the butt end of it picked up the other end. It's a 40-foot log, and it came swinging around sideways, basically like a baseball bat is my best analogy. Paul Bunyan swinging a 40-foot baseball bat.
All right.
And the log came and hit me right in the rib cage.
Oh, how far did that knock you?
Oh, I flew 30 to 40 feet. It knocked me out, too. I was unconscious for a minute or so. And what did we do? We broke 5 ribs, broke my sternum, and punctured my lung.
Jesus
Was that the worst on-the-job injury you'd ever had?
Oh, yeah. I swore after that I would never get hurt like that. That was my first helicopter ride also.
Oh, yay.
Yeah,
There
that's
you go.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
No, it's not. What was the average within a year time of serious injuries? Because that's one of the top 5, right? Or if not number 1, other than crab fishing as far as
there was a death every year. Somewhere there was a death every year you'd hear about, somebody you worked with or knew.
Okay.
You can't get around it. I've had several best friends that I put in the ground from logging.
Those guys, and you guys run pretty hard, right?
Yeah, we work hard, play hard, do everything a little hard. Guys out win logging is kind of compared to going to war with your buddies. I mean, you get really close to your guys because you got to look out for each other. There's a lot of force, a lot of brute force going on out there, a lot of torque and power, and a lot of stuff can go wrong real quick.
Well, even the guy that you see driving the truck that has all the logs on it, he looks like he could kill somebody. Yeah, I mean, those guys, and that's got to be one of the more dangerous professions as far as just driving a vehicle.
I would think so.
My dad was a log truck driver, and he had a car pull out in front of him, and he had to put his truck into the ditch, and the load of logs went through the cab. When the truck came to a sudden stop, the log shot forward and actually crushed the cab. It didn't crush him, thank goodness, but it got most of the passenger side of the cab.
Yeah, logging's the most dangerous.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's why I don't do that.
It just seems like the guys that I've known who said they were loggers are crazy. Not crazy in a bad way, just insane. You know what I mean? Like, to do that job, and they get paid well, right? And all that. But still, it's just...
Yeah.
Seems like a hell.
Well, that's that's part of the Northwest. A lot of people that moved out here, that's what they did.
Yeah, it's the history of it. But Rolling Stone never gave you an ad trying to convince you it was cool, right? So if you're crab fishing, that's not how they spun it.
No, but you were really going to work in a cannery or something.
Do you like fishing? That's what it would say. Most people I know are like, sure. The actual job is not the equivalent of standing on a riverbank with Dad, like a frickin' Andy Griffith show with your crappy little fishing pole. Like, oh my God, that's a dangerous ass job. Mm-hmm. But they don't even try to lie about, hey, do you like wood? Like, there's none of that. Sort of like logging.
Because there's no right. Like, it's easy to kind of trick you.
Do you like to fish? Sure, I do.
Right, like, that's how I got in door-to-door sales. Do you like sports and people? Right. Well, yeah. Well, I didn't realize I'd be going door-to-door selling crap.
I was in kind of a shoddy bar in Coos Bay, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm the least manly man in here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that was Fremont, bro.
Yeah, right, exactly. Probably was, too. Anywhere I go. But still dead serious. I'm looking around like, these people could eat me. You know what I mean? It's just like, everybody had they could shave that day and grow a beard by the afternoon.
I probably got shaved an hour ago.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I had some friends that were friends with a bunch of crab fishermen. And, it's just one of those things. Kind of like going into a bad neighborhood. Kind of like we did that one day in the bar. Mm-hmm. The only way I ever kind of hung out and felt okay with them was just to get aggressive and start busting their chops first.
Busting chops, drink beer.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
Men's Room blank question. I fought the blank and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Mike. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
Hey, how are you doing?
We're doing great, Mike. Thanks.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, Happy Hanukkah.
That's the first time I've said it this year.
They're trying to keep you from doing that, Ted.
I know. Well, I stopped saying it for years.
Yeah, exactly. Bill O'Reilly, damn him.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. I'll make this as quick as I can. But this was 2 days before the Super Bowl when we won, and my neighbor asked me to trim up some branches, and I said, no big deal. So I went, he said, I'll leave you the chainsaw, but don't start drinking. And like this son of a bitch. Well, anyway, so I was drinking some 211s. I don't know how many. And I had two guys down below, and they were a couple friends of mine. So he wanted me to just trim these trees because they went on his side of the property, and they were leaking sap on his car. So I said, sure, no problem. Just leave me the chainsaw. And he set it on my side of the property. And that morning, I got up and, had breakfast and all that good stuff. And next thing I know, my buddies came over with all these 211s. We started pounding them. I said, let's knock this tree out. So I, started out low, just chopping limb to limb to limb. And I was using the excess limbs. I climbed up the tree as I was cutting these limbs. So it left me, a little notch for my feet. to walk up. And I was probably 10, 15, 20 feet up. And it was the last branch. I had this 20-inch still saw. And next thing I know, I reached out and started cutting this limb with one hand. Chainsaw is wide open. And I'm pretty freaking hammered, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and my left foot slipped, and I tried to grab whatever I could with my left hand, and the chainsaw was wide open. I fell left to the left, chainsaw was wide open, and it landed right on the top of, excuse me, just above my kneecap. And I couldn't shut it off because my finger was just like glued to the trigger, drunker than hell. And next thing I know, I fell to the left. And my right leg, from my knee down, fell to the right. It was just gone. And the chainsaw dropped.
What do you mean gone?
You mean the chainsaw cut it off?
Completely.
You cut off the chainsaw cut off your entire goddamn leg?
Yes, sir.
Above the knee or below the knee?
Just above the knee, right above the kneecap. I mean, because when it landed, it was just going wide open.
All right.
And I was still trying to catch my fall, but by that time, what chainsaws do, man. They're just made from wood, not...
And bone. So what goes through your mind when you realize that your right leg is no longer attached to the rest of you?
At first, I didn't know it. So I fell out of the tree, and I landed on my back, knocked the wind out of me. Hell knows my leg was just spewing blood all over the place. I didn't know it. I tried to stand up. My other guy that was down below, he started puking his guts out, and the other guy grabbed his belt and took it off. And I guess he was used to blood or something. I don't know. And he just wrapped his belt around my leg and just said, don't even try to stand up, And then within, I don't know, about 15, 20, 30 seconds, I don't know, I lost consciousness.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And then next thing I know, I woke up at Good Sam Hospital, Puyallup, and they said, yeah,
I can't say that. All right, well, yeah, let's hold on for 1 second. Why isn't that working? Oh, I hit it. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I just can't say that word.
Once again, bedroom callers, here are the 7 words
I have so many questions
you can't say
about
on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
Now, I'm wondering, did he get his leg reattached? Unfortunately, we don't know because we had to let him go because he dropped an F-bomb.
Right.
I also want to know why he's drinking Steel Reserve.
Because his buddies brought it up. Look, if I show up at your place and I bring Steel Reserve, we're drinking Steel Reserve. You know we are.
At this point, no. I'd walk to the corner store and be like, I'm getting something lighter.
Yeah, exactly. If I showed up
got
at your house with Steel Reserve, you'd be like, what are you doing?
Remember when we did the
Give me
3000
one.
show? We had malt liquor that sat in there for weeks. I was like, I'm not drinking it. And Miles, I know what you're going to say. You're right. IPAs are just as strong. But there's something different about drinking malt liquor.
It's quicker.
It's quicker,
Yeah, it's
and I think
quicker.
the spirit with which you drink malt liquor is different.
And I was also kind of like,
If you get any 40, it's a different vessel to drink out of.
I think these guys, just because they're logging, I'm going to go out on a limb and say somehow they had like a 12-pack of Steel Reserve.
Just for breakfast.
Yeah, I liked the one, but he said, don't get drunk. And he was like, I'm going to drink the strongest alcohol at a can I can.
That means your neighbor knows you already.
Oh, my God,
Just
yes.
don't drink, right?
But I'm going to lend you my chainsaw.
And he cut his leg off,
Well, I
which
mean,
proves the neighbor's point.
That's fair. You can lend somebody a dangerous tool or weapon and be like, hey, just don't get... Like, that's the other thing. You show up with the 12-pack with, let's just chop this tree down.
Let's do that
then we'll
first.
get wasted.
But in the neighbor's defense, you've never tried to get sap off a car. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, it's not worth an arm and a leg, but it sucks.
It's not worth a leg.
Men's Room Blank question. I fought the blank and the blank won. 206-421-RON.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes: Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, all the Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
You're in the Men's Room. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
A track employee is in the hospital after a train hit the individual at Union Station in Washington, D.C. The employee was on a golf cart on the track when he was hit around 5 a.m. As a result of the incident, they canceled the train for the day. 21 passengers on the train that hit the individual. No passengers or crew members were injured. However, the guy on the golf cart, he did not win that battle.
Golf cart versus train?
No.
Come on, man.
Men's Room blank question. I fought the blank and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Rob. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, how's it going?
Hola.
So what did you fight?
And who won, Rob?
Well, obviously the tent won.
The tent?
Yeah, so I was in the Army. I got assigned to help out our S3 shop, which is the guys who handle all the communications and overseeing of each individual company in the Army. I had to go help them out. They were loading up these gigantic tents into the back of what we call an FMTV. It's a very, very large truck. The bed of the truck sits about 6 foot off the ground. A bunch of the guys that got established to help me out were very, very skinny, like $120. So I get in there. I see them having trouble shoving it in. I said, hey, get out of my way, little boys. I'll show you how to do this. I give it a good boot. It moves about 3 or 4 foot in. I give it a second boot, and I go out the back of the truck.
Oh!
I land on my back, and I fractured my L1, 2, 3, and 4.
Jesus, man.
8 months.
8 months?
Yep.
So,
I actually had to have my wife help me put my pants on in the morning.
So for 8 months you were just
it's
laying...
better when she helps you take them off at night.
You were just laying in bed?
Yeah, no, not totally 8 months. The Army won't let you do that. I got 3 days to recover, quote unquote. But after that, it was, 8 months of light duty, walking around with a cane, basically relearning to walk and run and everything else.
How's your back now?
I am still suffering from that.
I would have to think. Once you mess up your back, it just the pain never goes away.
And how long ago was this?
That was 2013.
Okay, so 7 years later, and you still got problems with the back.
What, lower back, I guess?
Yeah, lower back.
So do you go to a chiropractor? What can you do?
I see a physical therapist pretty regularly. They pull and stretch me, give me special exercises. I'm actually going to be seeing a pain specialist, so to help with pain management, because I don't want to take pills.
No,
I don't.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
But so eventually we're going to look in to see what else we can do to manage the pain. But all the doctors have straight up told me, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life. That's all there is to it.
Are you still in the military?
No, I got out in 2015.
Okay, what kind of job do you have now?
I'm a diesel mechanic.
All right. Well, you're still doing physical labor. So can you pick?
The crane does most of the work.
All right.
Okay.
Can you pick heavy objects up?
Define heavy.
Well,
what's the heaviest object you can pick up?
Right. Exactly. You got a box. You got to pick it up.
For most people, the average is 50 pounds and above. You need someone to help you. I used to squat 500 and bench 300 and everything else. I still throw around 100 pounds like it's nothing. So for me, 150 is heavy, and that's what hurts me. That being said, to the average person, I'm still really physically fit.
Yeah, it hurts me too, bro. And there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just lazy.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty impressive. Well, it probably is a good thing that you're in such good shape too. That's got to.
That's why he's like, let me show you how to do this.
Exactly. Men's room blank question. I fought the blank, and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, mine Rob can relate to, who you just had on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I do a chainsaw method. I managed to crush my feet with badly.
You meant to crush your feet with what now?
Yeah, your phone broke up.
Is a tow bar used to drag personnel carriers and tanks. Well, Great Freeze of 2011 in Fort Bliss, we hit minus 30 degrees. We had vehicles break down because of clogged fuel pumps because of the diesel gelling up.
That is blissful, yeah.
Well, we get the vehicle towed in, pull the tow bar off. 3 of us are putting it up on the side of the vehicle. My LT's down below, and he doesn't pay attention, throws the tow bar up in one way. My hand's underneath, crushes my finger. As soon as I felt the cold hit, I knew something was wrong. I looked at my LT, told him to go get Doc. He's like, why? It's like, go get Doc. My hand's warm. As soon as he sits there and goes, why again? I pull off my glove, and I got blood running down my hand and across the top of the Bradley. He freaks out. Long thing comes to shove. 8 hours later, I finally get to the ER. They tell me if I would have gotten there within an hour, they would have been able to sew it back up and stitch it up. I still have scarring, and my finger's still the size of my thumb.
Jesus. Which one?
My pinky finger on my left hand.
It's the size of your thumb.
Yes.
Is there anything you can do about that? Could you get some kind of surgery now to kind of straighten everything out?
No.
So it's done. It is
it's done. I fractured 2 discs.
Okay.
And the metatarsals there.
Why do you think the doctors bother to tell you? If you got in there in an hour, okay, well, I didn't. Why are you bringing that up? Right. If I had a vagina, I'd be a woman. I mean, like, what other hypotheticals do you want to run through, guys? It's the here and now.
Don't tell me what I could have done.
Yeah, I know. If I did not have it smashed, I would need to see it.
They would have been able to reduce the swelling, stitch it up, and at least keep the swelling down at the time. By the time I got there, it was larger than my thumb, and all they could do was bandage it and send me on my way.
Okay. Do you find that when you're out in public, you catch people staring at your hand trying to figure out why it looks a little different?
No, I live in the country, so I don't got
okay. There you go.
You don't have to worry about it. Finger thumb guy. Two thumbs on one hand.
He thinks he doesn't have to worry about it. There's deer running around, man. You seem like I got 3 thumbs.
Men's room blank question. I fought the blank, and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Robert. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, you know, man, just living life. How are you?
I can't complain.
All right, nice.
Can't complain. So, back in 2008, when I was deployed to Iraq, me and my crew, we were finished loading a couple bombs on a F-16 as it was still running. Well, my retarded self decided that, I had to go check the other side of the jet, and I went around it, not thinking, because I was just in the moment. I ran directly into the blast area of the jet engine.
Oh.
And then I went flying.
And what happened?
I hit the blast from the jet engine, and it set me flying about 15, 20 feet.
Did it burn you or anything? Like, I mean, it seems to me like that'd be a great place to cook a steak. I mean, how are you doing?
Oh, I was fine. The only thing that happened was I went tumbling, sprained the knee, bumped the head, thankfully, and I got back up and finished my job and whatnot. But the guys on the crew just gave me relentless hell after that.
Yeah, but they did. But it was pretty funny watching somebody just tumble down the road.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's funny when it's not you.
never did that again.
I can't believe you didn't get burned. I just assumed it'd be so hot, the flames shoot out there. That's the visual.
That'd be my guess, but I'm glad that is not the case.
No.
Like I said, never did that again. There's a lot of
It's
things.
better than being sucked through the front.
Right. There's just so many things you don't do again, right? You know, the kids, you try to explain, hey, don't touch that, it's hot, when they're really little. Well, they don't know what hot is. They know you're warning them. They understand it's danger, but they can't equate what it is. And I remember my son, man, I turned my head, in my periphery, I see him intentionally take his finger to touch the stove that I'd said was hot, and rips his hand away. And I snapped my head around. I said, 1, you can't cry. And 2, do you understand why I told you that's hot? And I just remember, he had like puffy eyes, right, trying to fight the tears back. He nodded his head. Guess what? Never done it again.
No.
Well, even when you do
done it
something
again.
dumb as an adult, like, it's not so much that you burned your hand on like a pan or something. I'm just like, how could I have been that stupid?
Right, you get mad at you because you know better.
You know better, but yet you still did it.
Now you
the worst,
know better.
Right, the worst is like when you're cutting something, like I did it years ago and cut my nail, cutting French bread with a serrated knife. Mm-hmm. But it was a little in the afternoon on a holiday and had a few beverages.
A couple 211s.
And I remember, exactly, you know me, man, still reserved. Mom was in town. And I remember thinking, this is dumb because I'm drunk. And boom, cut my nail in half.
That's how I cut my finger, the fingerprint on my right middle finger off. Cutting potatoes at a restaurant. Always look at what you're doing. And I knew this. I know this. Someone said my name, and I remember kind of half thinking as I looked up, oh, you're good. You've been doing this for years. So I'm going to make eye contact with this person. And I mean, the second I looked away from the knife, went through my finger.
Yeah.
The first chop when I looked up. I'm like, God damn it. You were just saying in your head, don't do that.
And no matter how bad it hurts, you're just like, I am an idiot.
That's more to the thing. Like, damn it, you fool.
Men's Room blank question. I fought the blank and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Raymond. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, Paso!
Hola!
Hola, gentlemen. Hey, I was walking around barefoot in my yard, and I got a cut on the bottom of my foot, and now it got infected, and then it got more infected, and then it got a little more infected, and so I went in, get it treated, went to a podiatrist to get it treated. The next 18 months, I was fighting this infection until it finally, we thought it healed up. It didn't. It abscessed on the inside. My foot collapsed, broke the abscess. I went into sepsis shock, and the doctor said, you have a choice. You can either take your foot off, or you can, get buried. So I decided to lose my foot.
Right or left?
And my right foot. I called in before.
How long after the infection started did you wait to go see the doctor the first time?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Okay, so that was that the issue. Do you know what you actually stepped on?
I have no idea. It could have been a bone chip. It could have been a piece of glass.
All right.
Who knows? I got dogs out in the yard, and it's just a cut. But it was, unfortunately, it was on the bottom of my foot, and of course, everybody, they won't sit around; they'll just keep walking on it. And I did the regular treatment. I've had wounds before, but I don't know. Something got in there, and it decided. I got pictures of a hole in the bottom of my foot. Probably bigger than a marble, and a little bit smaller than a golf ball that went almost down to the bone.
What does the contraption look like that is your prosthetic? Does it go up to your calf and you kind of slide it on like a boot? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's about mid calf, and there's a little cup there. You put your liner on, you slide in, and it's a sleeve that goes on the outside that holds the whole thing together.
Okay.
And walking ain't too bad.
Well, if I were to go to your home and open up your laundry, your clothes dryer, right? Do you only have one sock? Is that how you're? You know what I mean? Like you get a pair of socks, but I mean, is that like you don't have to match them or anything like that? You just, you know what I mean? You got a sock and
I do wear 2 socks. I wear normal shoes, but one sock stays on for a week, maybe 2, because it doesn't get dirty.
Right.
So I use one sock and for the other side and keep it clean. And no, everything else is just about normal, except, it's kind of a pain in the ass to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Have you ever pulled your foot off by accident? So, like when I had G.I. Joe dolls, back when they were big, right? You go to take the boot off the G.I. Joe doll, 9 times out of 10, the foot was still in the goddamn boot.
It's a suspension sleeve, so every once in a while the sleeve will stick or slip off. So, I'll be walking, and sometimes it'll just feels like it wants to come off. And, I have to go back in the bathroom and readjust.
What's the most dangerous part of your day-to-day life? Taking a shower?
Yeah, because I can't shower with it because it's obviously not waterproof.
Right.
And, so I still have to do crutches, at least once a day. And, I don't wear it 24/7, so I do have to shower, and I got a little shower, seat in there, if you will. And I got to hop into the shower, but it's close to the bed, so get that done and get my leg back on as soon as I can.
Do you have only one leg, or do you have multiple choices? As far as the prosthetics go?
No, but I am an engineer, so I do 3D printing, so I'm getting ready to gear up to make a couple of feet.
No,
that is very cool. What does your shoe on your left foot, does it wear faster than the one on the right?
No, they're wearing just about the same. I was just noticing that just a couple days ago.
Okay.
The difference is my right foot used to be bigger, so when I got my shoe size, it was for my right foot. Now my shoe is for my left foot because it's bigger. So now my left foot is a little bit loose in there. My right foot is definitely loose in there.
Is that one of those things that's kind of true of everyone, where one foot, for whatever reason, is like half a size larger than the other foot?
Everybody's foot is a little bit different than the other one.
Yeah, and I know most people's legs
these prosthetic feet are ridiculous. They fit. They don't even match your other foot.
What do you mean they don't match? Is it like an entirely different size?
It's approximately the same size, but I have a triple E left foot.
Okay.
And the right foot is regular size.
So you got one wide ass foot and a narrow foot.
What if all this?
A regular 10, and and on the left side, it's like a triple E 12.
Would I have any idea if I saw you walking down the street that you didn't have a foot?
No, you couldn't tell.
Okay.
I get in the handicap stall, and people complain and moan and groan that I'm in the handicap. You don't look handicapped. So I just pull up my pant leg and say, "Hey, look, MF. Does this look photoshopped to you?"
How often does that happen?
Huh?
How often does that happen to you?
Probably one in about 8 times I go to the grocery store that somebody will say, "Hey, you don't look handicapped." It's like, well, yeah, you look handicapped.
Are you talking about the handicap parking spot or the stall in the bathroom?
No, the handicap parking spot.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I go to the handicap stall all the time. Nobody's ever called me out.
Could you mean mug people who are in the handicap stall?
Yeah, sometimes I do. I go, "I hope you're handicapped in there."
You should,
because you're about to be.
Because nobody is. Nobody is.
I always use that one.
Yeah, nobody is.
Only one time.
It's so roomy.
Only one. It's roomy. It's got bars, but only one time. And I hated this one. I'm in a handicapped stall. It's at an airport. And you hear people enter the bathroom. It sounded a little different. I'm not tracking with what it is. And I realized through the crack under the door, I see the telltale wheel of the wheelchair. And I'm like, oh no. And the guy, for obvious reasons, he's not like he just backs off a little bit. And I'm like, all right. Do I stay in here for like 20 minutes and hope he goes away, or do I open the door and just get the ultimate mean mug, knowing I'm in the wrong? Like, there's nothing I can
never even pay attention to that.
It sucked, man. And he didn't say anything, but it's just the look, and it's like hanging my head, like I know. And even worse, like I pooped in there. It's not even like I just peed.
Walking, I just give him a hard time. On my wheels, I would be a little disappointed, but I get it, because when I was on 2 feet, I did the same thing.
All right, now, this question comes in from a listener, and I think this is exceptionally important. Has this guy ever used the fake foot or leg to smuggle something?
To smuggle something? I was thinking about strapping on a 38 on the empty space I had.
Okay.
I'm talking about stuffing and eat the wheat in there because I got to travel to Texas.
Oh, man, I'd have drugs on me constant.
Right, exactly. Now I just put it in my bag. Men's room, blank question. I fought the blank and the blank won. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello,
You need that fake leg. It's really holding your back.
Yeah.
Hello, some guys have all the luck, Ted.
I know.
Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola, fellow displaced Marylanders.
Hola.
So, what happened to me happened back in 1996. I was in the military then, and every 6 months, military decides you have to prove you're physically fit. And one of the things we had to do were sit-ups. And they got guys standing around making sure that you're doing them right so you don't get hurt. And there I went doing a proper sit-up and blew a disc in my neck. Ended up with 2 spinal surgeries, and to this day, I still have a loss of sensation in my right index finger. Took me 6 months to get my right arm working again.
So at that point, did they say, hey, you're not physically fit?
Well, sort of. They give you time to recover before they say, hey, you're out. And I had recovered enough at the end of all of that, long story short, I was able to stay in and actually completed a full career with just a little bit of loss of feeling in my right arm and right finger as long as I was able to do everything else.
Ask you the same thing I asked the other guy. You still have constant back pain?
Yes, and yeah. There is some pain that I get in my neck because mine was at the cervical level, right up basically the same level as the top of your collarbones. And yes, especially when it gets cold, I know about it because there's still metal hardware in my neck.
Oh, yeah.
So were you just whipping your head up with your hands, on the back of your head, and you just jerked too hard and just you physically snapped it yourself?
No, actually, my hands were across my chest. They won't allow you to put them behind your head. And that's what I say. I had somebody right there, a foot and a half away, watching that I was doing them right. It was just a freak thing that I came up and my neck said, nuts to this.
Huh. Damn, that is interesting.
A sit-up injury. You don't hear about that.
No,
much.
you don't.
The biggest problem I had with sit-ups, and it's an elementary school. I don't know if they still do this, presidential
fitness
thing, right? So you did push-ups, sit-ups, all this crap. But with the sit-ups, there was always a classmate would hold your legs, and you did sit-ups. Inevitably, you started farting. And every time you did a sit-up, you farted again, right? But then you start laughing. So the point was this. You had to do like 35 sit-ups in a minute, whatever the hell it was. Like, how'd you only do 17? You'd be like, because he farted. Then he couldn't stop laughing because every time you sit up, and like none of us ever got that thing done. We couldn't get past the sit-ups because inevitably, Jamie Becker, someone would fart on every sit-up. We were just dying.
Like, I'm thinking of that always happens. Somebody's farting.
40-yard dash, 50-yard dash when they time you. The kid next to you, he's farting the whole way down.
Yeah, it's like when your back like suction cups on the mat too. It's all sweaty. It's like you've had one of those like body sex farts. You know what I mean? Like it's,
but you have to ignore it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's roll over.
How's the stomach?
Like, yeah. It's all good.
Men's Room blank question. I fought the blank and the blank won. You are listening to the Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.